the last 8 years when he was assigned from the East Coast to St. Joseph. And I just want to share some of my reflections from working with Father Paul. To tell you the truth, I have never worked with a priest with such high energy. And oh my God, he came in and we were literally blown away, because he wants everything to be done, and then it has to be done fast. Okay? So we were on our toes. And in a few months, our parishioners from St. Joseph gave him a new name. We call him Father Tsunami. Well, his work is like tsunami, right? Because I remember being in a dinner with him only 2 weeks ago, and he was sharing with me his passion about working with the retreat kids. For each retreat, he feels that he need to reach out to each one of them and be able to bring them closer to the Lord. And that's the reason why he would create very fun and active program for the children. Now, the last few years before the COVID, he was able to work with 12,000 students. That's a very impressive. People were calling him 24/7. He would be going into the hospital to give the last rite and to hear confession. Now, this is the time when the Delta COVID variant was there. It was real, right? And there was no vaccine. And I'm a nurse, so it was prudent of me to advise him, maybe, Father Paul, think about maybe hearing the confession from talking to them on the phone, maybe, or maybe FaceTime to give them the last rite. Absolutely not, he says. That is totally not acceptable, Sheila, he says. So there he goes. He faced the virus in person. When he went into the hospital, the nurses asked him to stay outside the isolation room, and he would not listen. You know how stubborn he is, right? He would not listen. He would gang in and he would spend time with the families. His accompaniment has touched many, many families. Now, during in 2020, many people died, right? And it was totally, again, not acceptable for Father Paul to see funeral services in front of the church or at the parking lot. So I would say if he did not join the Salesians, he would be a very good CEO because he saw the business opportunity. And he used our beautiful grotto and turned it into a place where funerals could be performed with dignity and respect. And that was totally Father Paul. So, guess how many funeral services he have done the last 3 years? Over 300 funeral services. And I heard many heartbreaking stories from Father Paul on those services. There were family discord, abandonment, family feud. People were fighting during the funeral services. And being a very keen observer and somebody who provides loving care to everybody, he was able to bring the families to reconcile among themselves, and not only among the families, but also to reconcile with the Lord. Now, one of the programs that I was very impressed by Father Paul was our homeless program. We still have a homeless program. We provide food and supplies to the homeless on a monthly basis. Now, guess what? If you leave this program to Father Paul, it's not just food and supplies. He always thought of something else. And guess what that something else was? He said, everybody needs